Hey guys, Omni here. We are finally going to be diving into the Haunting of Bly Manor after I've been postponing this for a few months now. When I said that we would be diving into this after a short break after we concluded the Haunting of Hill House back in October when I did that for Halloween. But I highly underestimated just how emotionally taxing that journey was. And I should have expected that from Mike Flanagan. I've never seen any of his shows, as you guys know, or if you're new here, you now know. But I've seen quite a few of his films, and being steeped in that type of atmosphere, that type of emotional journey that he really is a master of crafting for well outside the normal runtime of like a movie, stretching that into like 10 plus hours of content. Oh my God, man, I was a mess, let alone not doing it like weekly, doing that one per day and being steeped in that atmosphere, getting torn and pushed through that emotional roller coaster that show was. It definitely made me need to have to do like a full mental cleanse before tackling another show. And with that in mind, this time around, I will in fact be doing only one episode a week. I will be dropping these on Tuesdays, and I know some people aren't going to vibe with that. But with, this is coming in the middle of like our busy season as far as all the other shows that we're covering at the moment. So I have to kind of mitigate that, on top of I need to be able to try to avoid that emotional burnout again. So we're going to be doing these one at a time, one a week, and we will get through this. Every Tuesday, I will have a Bly Manor for you guys. And once we're finished with Bly Manor, I will go right into Midnight Mass, and we will be caught up on the Flanagan verse. Up until his new project, right? The Fall of House of Usher. I think he's doing an adaptation of that. So I'm excited. I definitely want to check that out. I love me some Poe. So, yeah. I don't really know anything about this one. I've heard that it has a very different vibe compared to The Haunting of Hill House. I know that there are some cast members that are returning as new characters, so it's kind of like an American Horror Story thing, you know, keeping and cycling in some familiar faces as brand new people, letting them do some different things. And that I know that this is based on the short story The Turning of the Screw, which I know a little bit about. I skimmed through it because I really had to compare it to the trash 2020 movie that I saw based on that same short story called The Turning that had Finn Wolfhard in it, and I did not like that movie. So I was like, this cannot be what this was based on. I needed to know how this ended or whatever. So I went back and I kind of skimmed through the short story and be like, oh my gosh, this sounds so much better than what we got. But despite that, I've seen Hill House adaptations before, and they still threw me for a loop because he does his own things with these stories. He takes his own twists and turns. So even knowing some things about the story that it's based on doesn't mean I know the story that Mike Flanagan's going to tell. So I'm excited to check this out, guys, to finally dive into this with you guys. So that being said, if you're new here, or if you're part of that 75% of the audience that watches the videos but doesn't subscribe, would you please subscribe? Maybe consider it by the end of the video and help us out with that YouTube algorithm. I'd really appreciate it. And that being said, guys, just like with everything before, if you want to check out the full-length reaction to this episode, because we do have to edit it down for YouTube, you can check those out over on Patreon, or if you become a member of the channel, gets you access as well. It's one of the many ways you can help support us over here, help us work towards expanding our reactions, getting help with the editing, so that we can do more reactions and don't have to ever cut back or anything like that, and improve the overall quality of the content that comes your way. You know, along with the watch-alongs for the shows, you also get exclusive movie watch-alongs that are over there, where at the start of each month, you get to suggest and then vote on what movies we add to that at the end of each month. Monthly Q&As, behind-the-scenes footage. I try to make it worth your while, since you guys are going out of your way to support the channel. But, of course, another way, a simple way you can support us is just by liking, commenting, subscribing, and help us out with that YouTube algorithm, because that's what really is going to drive us forward in the long run, get more eyes on the channel. But that said and down the way, guys, let's finally dive into The Haunting of Bly Manor. Here we go. Hey! All right, okay, that's two cranes already. This is an interesting opening. Rahul! I did know he was in this, so there is that too, so. Oh, and the dad. Okay, cool. Cool. So what, that's 3 returning just in those portraits that we've seen so far? Cool. Oh.
But now, alone I lie.
The mom. 2007, the year after I graduated high school.
The bride has asked me to speak. I thought she was joking.
Whoa, wait.
Such catastrophe.
That's Greg Sestero from The Room.
Claim my right as a slightly drunk, completely jet-lagged Englishman to well and truly speak my mind.
I almost just called him Mark. Oh, hi, Mark.
There's a strong probability that you two get to watch each other die.
Okay, it's just a story. This place used to be a convent for like a few decades in the 40s. It's part of the sales package. They can charge a few hundred extra for the ghost story.
Is this going to be one of those things like Hill House where there's going to be ghosts hidden in every corner of the background? Let me know if I need to keep an eye out, but please, no spoilers, guys.
And if a child gives the effect another turn of the screw, what do you say to 2?
London,
The teacher was
87.
in his old family home in Wessex. A great good place, alone in the country.
Oh. Well, that didn't take long.
When I first arrived in London, and I have seen it every month since. Seems to me an easy position to fill, at least as you've described.
So is this curiosity more so than anything else?
What is the catch?
Oh, ho, ho.
That really is the question.
Turned that around real quick, didn't you?
Thank you.
Got some sass.
I know I didn't get the job. I think we should toast to it, Mr. Wingrave. Or do you prefer it in your tea? You can tell me now, right? I'm honestly so curious.
Yeah, it is curiosity.
The catch.
Small children in that huge house with their dead parents. Parents died abroad, never mind. A governess took her own.
Jesus.
No one wants it. Superstition, imagination.
Man, there's great monologues from these guys, man.
I figure I don't know the specifics, but I know how to handle kids. I could make a difference with just 2.
What? I've got 4 or 5 close friends that are all teachers, and yeah, it's...
And then it clicked. They've lost someone.
They've not given up yet, but man, they love their kids and they do all of the work. No appreciation, man. None of it. The kids, though, love them. But, like, as far as the state and the government, there's only so much they can do.
I'm not running from anything. Anyway, you can reach me when I get to the house.
She said she can't go back, or doesn't want to go back. I forget what she said in the...
I love you, Mom.
Yeah, that again. The fuck is that? Her mom's accusing her of running away from something, and she told him, "Hey, there he is."
Miss Clayton?
Yeah.
Owen.
Hi.
Pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
We go. Oh, let's go back.
Yeah. I have some back.
She had mentioned that, like, I think, like, she said something along the lines of, like, she can't go back. Doesn't want to go back. I forget which.
Sorry about that. It's country roads.
Take me home to the place I belong. Virginia.
Haven't got much sleep lately.
Ah. Well, hostels aren't terribly restful. No, you'll find it much quieter out here.
I'd love to visit England someday. Ireland, Scotland.
God, is that...
Like I said, plenty to love.
Can I get out and walk the rest of the way?
Actually, I would kind of second that. That would be a lovely ass walk.
What a
gorgeous lake.
Oh, you mustn't. It really is just a smelly old pond. And do you know there are leeches in there? Whole little things like vampire slugs. There's so much else that's so much better. It really is.
The fuck is that about, kid, huh?
Miles! She's here! She's here! And she's even prettier than I imagined.
Little fucking Damien over here.
To meet you, my lady.
Oh.
Not so much, never mind.
Eager to see the house.
Oh, yes.
Right, well, come along. Now,
Oh, you can call me Dan.
I can't remember the actress that plays,
you're calling Miss Clayton like we agreed.
Her first look at Bly yielded no discomfort.
I can't remember her first name, Miss Clayton, Nell. She's got such a lovely smile, man.
This is a foyer, and it's perfectly splendid.
It's beautiful.
Come along. This is the classroom. Quite boring. These are the lovely stairs, but you mustn't run on them.
This little girl looks familiar.
Mrs. Gross says they're brutal on the knees, but I don't have any issues.
You will, one day.
Let's leave Miss Clayton to freshen up.
Of course. But then we must show her the statue garden.
She'll see it all eventually, Flora.
We'll see you after you've settled.
Statue gardens creep me out, man. Oh, okay.
Just a little something to make you feel more welcome.
Thank you.
Here, have this haunted butterfly clip.
Thank you.
I don't trust the kid, man. I don't trust that one.
I want to go to Australia or Florida because it's almost my name.
He likes to wind me up.
She likes being wound up.
Aren't you joining us?
Oh, not tonight, sweetheart. I've got to go home to my mum.
Disappointing.
You sound just like her. Right. Good night, you lovely young lady. And good night to you too, Flora.
Oh, heaven help me.
You can sass back.
He used to stay overnight for supper.
Maybe she feels well enough to eat, so he has to get home in time to cook for her.
I'm sure you're right, sweetheart.
Preciously optimistic.
I'll have it later.
Okay.
Okay.
The butterfly clip.
Oh, Miles gave it to me.
He shouldn't have done that
Why not?
because it doesn't belong to you.
She looked over her shoulder as something.
I am so sorry.
She keeps looking. Fuck. I don't.
Can I play with my dolls?
Yeah, 15 minutes, okay?
Is this like her own little demon? I mean, because it's been, you know, outside the house in multiple places, so she's bringing her own some with her.
Is that me?
Why no, silly. You're you. It's just a dolly.
You, miss, have a lot of dolls.
That one was like, help! Oh, God. Ah, it's all set up, isn't it? Oh, ooh.
Put her back. She stays
In the mirror.
there.
There's someone in the mirror.
And you're all tucked in. And it's time for bed. Don't leave your room at night. Stay in your bed until morning.
Now get some sleep.
Ooh. I could not sleep in a house like this, man.
That sense of expansion wasn't only indoors either.
That got me to jump a little bit. Maybe not so much physically, you might not have even noticed, but like it was like there was a sink when that clicking started, just like a sink in my chest of vertigo for just a second. What are we looking through? A statue? Is that a bookcase or a person? That's a weird shaped thing. Fuck you.
Tastes good to me.
You didn't turn off the sink.
Look, I've been a teacher for 9 years, Miles. That's almost your whole life. I'm a lot braver than people think. Your uncle told me a little bit about your problems at school.
You spoke with my uncle.
Well, of course, he hired me.
Did he ask about us?
Hmm. That was an eerie effect. I like that. The breathing of the wind. That was Luke, right?
Miss Clayton.
Thank you.
Who dis?
The gardener did not even introduce herself to the new au pair.
I saw a guy on the parapet on my way in.
On the parapet.
Yeah,
Oh, I've not been up there. Well,
he didn't wave back.
Well, we do get ramblers sometimes. People that want to have a look at the gardens. They take liberties, but if 1 minute onto the parapet...
I can get up there anyway.
Well, you're not gonna eat anything?
Oh, no, I already ate. Just here for the company.
You must try this.
Laura, don't.
She took the food away the last time, didn't... Well, we didn't see her eat. Now she just straight up didn't get any food this time. That's, I don't know. Watching you. Breaking all the rules. Another one of her dolls. There's one out by the lake. That one. Then her whole little dollhouse thing.
And that's enough bad luck for any two children to bear, but then to think what came after. Your predecessor.
Miss Jessel.
Yeah.
And this shot.
But in the weeks after Miss Jessel, their silence, it never felt so terrible. Now when I hear them cry, oh, it's the most beautiful sound in the world.
This is the same theme.
Do you like games, Danny?
Not at bedtime.
It's the best time for games, really. Stop being weird, Miles! He's so weird sometimes.
Talks like a fucking Bond villain.
Just promise me that when you're keeping us all safe, that you keep yourself safe first, and no going on the parapet. Good night, sweet girl. Well, here you go. She can sleep with you tonight.
I don't think she wants that.
Okay, let's look. I don't see it.
Must be under some clothes.
This old dickhead's gonna fucking shut the door, isn't he?
Okay.
Is there a mirror in there? Are you...
Open the door! Open the door! Guys!
Oh! Jesus. Please tell me they don't leave her in there all night. My God.
So dreadfully sorry.
We'll talk about it in the morning.
Back under the dresser. Mud. Dirt. Water. All right, all right. That was an interesting setup. See, like, I'm wondering, like, half the time, am I actually seeing something, like, with the mirror in on the dresser in the bedroom for the kids, specifically for Flora, like, with the little totem underneath, whatever she called it. I forget what they referred to it as, but the little totem that she made, the little doll that she made for whoever that was, the one she kept hiding under the dresser. And we saw that she left one on the parapet as well, which I guess is representative of whoever this is that Luke is playing this time around. And I do apologize. It might be a little annoying out of the gate for you guys who have or familiar with this one or maybe started with this one. But until I learn their names or who they're playing here, I may have to default to referring to them as their Hill House role, because I don't remember most of the actors and actresses' actual names themselves. So I'll probably talk about them as their characters until I zero it in and hone it in on who they're playing this time around. But we saw him up on the parapet, just kind of watching Nell as she's walking around, Miss Clayton. And yeah, no one up there, nobody heard of him. Nobody had any mind or knew anything about a person being in the house other than the people that were there already. So it's another specter, I guess, that we'll learn about later. And it seems like if the dollhouse is any evidence, because we see how Flora likes to make these dolls representative of the souls that have been lost here or that are here, there is a whole lot sprinkled throughout the house. We saw, not straight on, but we saw that hooded figure watching Nell as she came out of the kitchen after she made that late night tea. I could have swore I saw a figure in the mirror on the dresser. And then, you know, they're just kind of like these little things here and there, like with the kids, like with Flora when she was in the bath, like looking eye contact with someone behind Nell while she's, you know, talking to her, getting her towel and stuff, and like she's almost responding or talking to somebody behind them. And I got the impression that it was probably the previous governess who killed herself. You know, we saw her totem out that she was holding it out by the lake whenever she first arrived and left it there. Because they were talking about her hair clip that I'm going to call him Damien because I don't remember his name right now, because he reminds me of Damien from The Omen. So like I given her that as a way to be like, haha, I know this is going to do something shady. Is draw attention to her, draw a spirit to her or something, or maybe attach a spirit to her because it belonged to that previous governess who took her life here. And then we saw all kinds of different figures in the house that I'm sure we'll meet along the way. Rahul popping in here as Owen, I believe is his name. Charming dude. I like him. He's just a funny guy in real life. Huge troll of the internet. But I really love. I think he's hilarious, man. He's a treat. So I can't wait to see more of him in this. But yeah, everybody else is doing great. I actually think that the actress playing Flora is doing a really good job in this so far. The Damien's a little harder to get a read on just because his character is just kind of a little weird. You can never really judge his intent, and you know, Miss Clayton's trying to figure out what he's doing. She's assuming a lot of what he's doing, but he's also feigning this like aloofness the entire time as well. So it makes it hard to like judge his intent, whether it's his own, whether there's something else going on with him. I don't know. Also, the scene in the church was really good. This show and its monologues, Mike Flanagan and the monologues that he writes are really strong. And I liked her back and forth with Nell there, and the way they had that, I think was like a split diopter shot, because we had two different focal points while everything else was kind of obscured with a foreground and background shot. I just thought that was really eerie, but also set like this kind of ethereal place where there's a sense of protection in the church. You think that's where she's leaving? A dinner? She's like, nah, I'm not hungry. And then she takes the food and leaves. Did she go to the church and eat? And this time around, she didn't have anything at dinner. Is that like her refuge? Is she like here as much as she needs to be, but takes like sanctuary at the church? Away from the kids, away from the house? Maybe. And then, yeah, whatever's going on in the house too, I guess because it looked like mud or water or something, and the tracks were coming into the house because Nell was following the opposite direction. It was like the feet were going into the room, into the building. So she followed out there, and my only guess is that it could be coming from the lake. So that's where I'm going to go with that for right now. But again, like I mentioned earlier, there's this other thing with these glowing eyes, which I kind of look like either goggles or glasses reflecting heavy light. I can't really make out the figure all that well. It looks, I don't know, it could be anyone really. I can't really get a good solid look at it half the time we saw it. But this thing was appearing to her, and she's running from something to begin with, or at least her mom is accusing her of that. And her conversation with the father from season 1, the uncle here in the bar, you know, they kind of had this back and forth where she talked about like she didn't run away, she just can't go back or doesn't want to go back or something like that, or there's nothing for her. I forget the exact wording, but there's something that happened that made her leave the States, and I think that's what this is. It's following her because we saw it in London, in a reflection of that car she was getting in, that taxi, and then periodically in other places. So I'm curious to see what that is. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out, man. The two favorite dialogues in this so far was the exchange in the bar between the uncle and Nell. That whole back and forth about the history of the house, and then like her really pressing. It was like, what's the catch? You said there was a catch for me. Look, I read that ad. It's been here for 6 months. Nobody's taking it. What's the deal over there that nobody's biting at this thing? Because it seems like something a lot of people would be more than willing to jump at. So yeah, I like that whole back and forth. And then the thing at the church, I really dug that whole bit. As well as the car ride with Nell and Owen. Yeah, I like this setting. The countryside, it's a little bit different. It's got a similar but different vibe than Hill House, and I can't wait because there's like this slow build up with Hill House, and I sense that here. Like they gave you a little bit of enough to be like, oh, ooh, ah, and we got a little bit more to come, I'm sure. I can't wait to see how this one crescendos. But yeah, I like it so far. Setting the mood, setting the feel, setting the tone. And we'll see where we go from here, guys. Anyway, let me know what you thought of the episode down below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. Feel free to join our Discord. Links to that and all my socials are down below. And I'd really appreciate it if you follow me on each and every one of those. But if you'd like to check out the full-length reaction to this episode, remember that's on Patreon, or if you become a member on the channel, gets you access as well. Before we go, I want to shout out our channel legends, Manny Scher, Ryan Karen, Philly Vane, Yori Corey Scott, Margaret Grace, Mary Bradley, Nate Prouty, and Melita. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. But that's it for now, and I'll see you guys next Tuesday with the next episode of The Haunting of Bly Manor. Take care, everybody.